Right, Honorable Prime Minister. Before I give you that, 12 sub-regions that have been visited countrywide discussing PDM there. But in the last incident, the President has spent a lot of time in Bunyoro, especially in the 8 districts, all the way from Kakumiro, Chibale, and getting all the way there. These are districts that are predominantly with agriculture, fisheries, and minerals. Tonight, we look at the introspective and retrospective of the insights by the Prime Minister to explain to us PDM, her performance, but most of all, how prepared are we for the disasters that are coming. Right Honorable Robina Nabbanja, the Prime Minister and the leader of government business. Good evening, ma'am, and it's good to have you.
The only one.
The one and only.
Good evening, viewers.
It's good to have you. Thank you for inviting us into your beautiful home here in Kavule Makere.
Thank you so much.
I should have come with my yellow jacket also. What do you think?
I don't know why you left it.
Honorable Prime Minister, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you. Africa's Female Leadership Award 2024, the Global Woman Leadership Award of September last year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I also want to add, you also received a medal for the best Prime Minister of the country. Congratulations. Give us a bit of that there so that we can hear.
On 26th of January this year, we were celebrating NRM Day in Mubende, and I was awarded that prestigious award. I was so happy, and so that energized my way of doing things.
The Global Award and the African Continent Awards, how do you get them? Because I saw the voting was rigorous. The contenders were numerous, one of them being a deputy managing director of the IMF. How did you come on top, Honorable Prime Minister?
I believe some of these things are God-given. I think the lowest common multiple is the appointment I got. And so I dedicate this award to the President who identified me and made me Prime Minister, the first female Prime Minister of Uganda. The work we do in that office is enormous. It involves members of cabinet, coordinating ministries, departments, and agencies. And this is derived from Article 108 of our Constitution, coordinating Parliament as a leader of government business in Parliament, and of course the field work that we do with the local leaders. I believe even the global meetings we have attended and the performance of all those punctuated with a number of deliverables. So I think Africans, because this was an African vote, yes, have been following me from the day I was appointed. And I believe it is because of you, UBC, who have been putting our work to the whole world through your television, that people voted for me. I was told I was overwhelmingly voted by the East African community, overwhelmingly voted by Ugandans, overwhelmingly voted by a number of other nations. For me, by the way, I did not vote for myself. I was busy in Mbale that time. We were following up on the landslides that claimed a number of lives in is it this last landslide that happened. So I was busy, I did not even know. I was busy and I did not vote for myself. But Ugandans, Africans, especially East Africans, did the job.
Honorable Prime Minister, Ugandans know you as the Prime Minister that gets her hands dirty, holds the bull by the horns. What keeps you motivated? What drives you every day to wake up and get out there. We hear you, arrest this one. This one is, what keeps you going?
The love for the country, patriotism, and the fact that I was appointed the Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister, the first female Prime Minister Uganda has ever had. I look at this job as a gift from God. I also look at this job as a job for all women in Uganda. I feel whenever I wake up in the morning, I do not want to shame my appointing authority. Whenever, even when I'm feeling a bit lazy, my children, my family, the NRM party, and of course the commitments we made as government to the people of Uganda, the overwhelming support Ugandans give to our president, many other things. The support I get from other leaders like the ministers, cabinet, the president himself, the guidance keeps me going.
And you can be part of the conversation. Get to our YouTube channel, get to our X platform. The Prime Minister is going to be answering some of your questions there. So the first people to drop them in, she'll be responding to those. Honorable Prime Minister, first and foremost, the President comes to the Bunyoro sub-region. A university groundbreaking, a stadium, generally a skilling hub. You seem to be very busy doing a lot of good things for the Bunyoro sub-region. How did that make you feel, and how do those milestones make a difference in that sub-region?
Why are you reducing me to only my mother region?
I was starting there before we get to the big picture.
And yet I'm joining the president everywhere in the country. I remember I was with the president in Bukedi. Yes. We also commissioned the skilling hub. We also commissioned a number of roads in those sub-regions. I was with the president in Karamoja. The skilling hub was commissioned, and many other things. Why are you zeroing on Bunyoro? Let me also ask you.
The stadium, with AFCON coming, with CHAN this August. Today we seem to have won the game. Okay. Your thoughts on it?
As a leader from the sub-region, yes. First of all, I want to thank the president for visiting our area. Of course, on his monetary tour as a head of state, and what he has done for this country, not only for Bunyoro, but for the country. The people of Bunyoro welcomed our president with a lot of joy, enthusiasm, and vigor. You must have seen this. Yes. I want to thank the First Lady, yes, the Minister of Education, Mama Janet. We have come from far. The Bunyoro University did not start when the president came. We have been preparing. There are a number of processes that we have been going through. But I am happy that the president launched the construction of Bunyoro University. This was possible because we got a donation, 100 acres of land, from Dr. Wamani. Is a canon. Dr. Wamani, I want to use UBC to thank you for that big donation, and to thank the people and the members of parliament from Bunyoro sub-region, our caucus, that has been pushing for this, to thank the Bunyoro task force and all leaders from Bunyoro for, of course, identifying this as our landmark. This term of office, we all agreed with the president that let us deliver a university for that sub-region. But there are a number of challenges that we see in our region. The university is in our region, but the president was very clear. He said, yes, this is a landmark, but we still have challenges. in our education system, the dropout rate in our area is high. I mean the completion rate. 100 children from our region start P1, but there are a few who complete P7. And of course, you cannot go to secondary before completing P7. Even those who drop out at that level, yes. I'm told and reliably informed that it's still a big number. Those who complete senior 6 to graduate to the university, a big number. And so let me use this opportunity. It's not only in Bunyoro, to warn the head teachers and school management committees who put charges in our schools. The UPE schools, the major reason why the president introduced this program was to help the local poor to access education. They have made it impossible for the poor families to educate their children. Some of us come from poor families. You must have been told that the president has been almost in every part of this country complaining of the illegal charges in our schools. And so for me, when I heard the president, we instituted an investigation under the Prime Minister's Delivery Unit and the Prime Minister's Monetary Unit. The figures we are giving is data that we got from the 2024 census, together with data we got from those departments under the office of the Prime Minister. And we said, yes, we have this data. It's not good. What do we do? So the president, that's why you hear the president, wherever he has gone, he has been asking me for data. We have this report in our office, and so it's not a good report because the lowest common multiple of development is human capital development. If our children continue to drop out of schools, we may fail to get prime ministers in the future.
What's the call to action? Because you mentioned that, and the census, the PLE results, UCE results, USC results show exactly what you're talking about. What is government? And you as the leader of government business, what are you doing about solving this problem?
Of course, continuous sensitization. And where possible for us, in some areas we have acted, and you know that we have done a number of actionable points. We continue to sensitize the public. The president was like, can you people, the leaders at that level, district, the district education officers, the inspector of schools, I don't think they are happy to see these results. I don't think they are happy. Any patriotic Ugandan would want to have an educated population, because that's the lowest common multiple of development. Now, we shall continue with continuous sensitization, but we shall also use legal means. You charge our children, you put illegal charges. These are government schools. They are not for the head teachers. Yes, they are government schools. We government, we are the owners of those schools. We pay teachers, okay? Yes. We give them capitation grants to cater for the needs of the school. They usually hide under an excuse that the teachers on payroll are not enough. But the president is saying, can you inform us that the teachers are not enough so that government can add on the wage bill for the districts in question? They don't. They usually don't give us those reports. So we are going to now give guidelines through the Ministry of Education. Yeah. If you don't inform us of the needs that you have in that particular district, the law will take its own course.
Let's park that there. Let's come to PDM. You have been with the president in most of these 12 sub-regions that he has visited. Your overview, what have you seen? What have you evaluated? Is PDM working? Complaints, concerns, and challenges?
As you are aware, the president in 2021 introduced PDM as a game changer. One, to fight poverty, to help our people have that seed capital so that they can, one, buy seedlings for themselves. Two, they can avoid money lenders, because money lenders have been a problem to our people across the country. They have been giving money at exorbitant interests, and our people, some of our people have lost property, like land and many other things. And we have a very strong monitoring and evaluation component which has been assisting us to move. Yes. PDM, to me, by all ways, is doing very well. As you are already aware, there are a number of people, the beneficiaries, you can generally say this is doing well. And I know you have reports, because UBC has been covering the president. You have been covering me wherever I have been moving. So to me, PDM is doing us proud.
The report by the Attorney General of 47 billion being misappropriated, is that a yes, Attorney General. The report, no, the Auditor General, sorry. The report that has come out of 47 billion misappropriated money that can't be accounted for, concerns of fees being charged to women. These were some of the concerns raised when you were in the Bunyoro sub-region. What is going to be done about that?
Bunyoro sub-region, I was with the president, and I did not see that being reported. The Auditor General's report, I believe that is of 2021-22, that indicated that 45 billion was lost. But I believe this was the time when money was going through districts. Do you remember? Then Cabinet changed the strategy under the directive of the president that money should go directly to the circles at parish level. And Bank of Uganda, through the Ministry of Finance, has been sending money directly to parish circles. We wait to see whether the changes we made under the directive of the president have negative reports. In 2021-2022, some districts prioritized recruitment of parish chiefs. Do you remember?
Yes.
Some districts prioritized purchase of gadgets. And some districts had not yet got the census, and the guidelines had not gone to the districts. We still wait investigations that are still ongoing. And if they are culprits, they will face the law. That's what I can give. Then you talked about weather. Can you repeat the question for me?
The question is, what impact has PDM had? You have traversed these different regions with different needs. Has PDM had impact to the ground, to what we call Omuntu wa wansi?
Like I said earlier, wherever we have moved, together with UBC, you have seen, I was in Bukedi. I remember a man called Kedi. Do you remember? He started with a few heads of chicken. By the time we reached Bukedi, we saw a number of heads of chicken, and he was counting money in millions out of 1 million. And remember, there were a number of deductions that time by the banks, the implementing banks, the commercial banks. However, there could be a few challenges and gaps which we have identified. The criteria of selecting these people, a few gaps were also identified, but the guidelines are clear that in every parish, 30 million, that's 30% of 100 million, goes to the women. 30% goes to the youth. That's the criteria. The guidelines are very clear. 10% for PWDs, people with disabilities. 10% for the elderly. And then 20% for the other persons, that is the men between the age of 35 to 59. That is very clear. And I believe the selection, if you follow those guidelines that we gave to the districts, that we gave to the local communities, and I have been to UBC many times to sensitize the people on the same. We have PDM groups or enterprise groups at that level. Every member of the parish, you and me, in those areas who are below the target bracket, the poverty line, is supposed to be a member of the parish circle. We have a parish circle per parish, and the members of that parish circle and the leaders are selected by the members of the circle. So if a member of the parish circle, right, messes up and maybe solicits for bribes during the selection exercise, the people themselves can vote him out. Remember what the president has been talking about, that he started with NADS. No, he started with Entandikwa. Do you remember?
Yes.
And the communities everywhere he has gone have been complaining, that they give to themselves, the leaders at that level. Then NADS, that they give to themselves, the leaders at district and sub-county level. Then Operation Wealth Creation, that they give themselves. Now this one, the president directed me and other ministers, Ministry of Local Government, the PDM Secretariat, that this time round, money goes directly to the beneficiaries' accounts.
In the Bukedia region that you were in, a gentleman raised a concern who was having chicken, especially on the hatchery, for him to move from where he was to Palisa, to be able to have his eggs hatched and brought back. Power was a problem, a hatchery was a problem. Such problems and challenges, are they compounded? Do you solve them as a group? Do you solve it as an individual? How do you deal with it in the PDM model?
The government of Uganda is the government of the people. We are a democratic government. And so the way we solve our problems is very clear. There are problems that can be solved at district level, like access roads. That young man was complaining of access roads. So those roads are worked on, some of them are worked on by the district, and that is access sub-county district. The trunk roads are worked on by the Ministry of Works. Formerly it was UNRA, now Ministry of Works. Electricity, he was complaining about. When we came back, I directed the Ministry of Energy to make sure that area gets power. And of course, each area is represented in Parliament. You have already seen me answer questions on the floor of Parliament to do with service delivery. And I believe since that time, there is something that is being done. Secondly, the president himself assisted KD, that young man, with some support. And I believe that support is put to good use.
Let's talk about the fishing community. In Bunyoro sub-region, the president talked about an alternative to PDM to support the fishing community. What does that look like? What was your interpretation of what he said?
Muzei directed that in addition to other enterprises because most of our people are engaged in poultry, piggery. Some of them are doing these high value crops, coffee, and the others are doing other things. That old man we met in Chikuve district brought in a new strategy, the fishing project. And he said he used only 500,000 to dig and construct the fish pond. Usually we knew the fish ponds can only be excavated by an excavator, but this old man gave us a new strategy that with just 500,000 you can construct a fish pond. Of course, his fish ponds are not as big as others we have seen in other parts of the country. And so he also stocked they call them fingerlings, using only 200,000. But of course, when you see the amount of money he got from that business is not as much. But he continues to tell us that he has so far now constructed 8 other fish ponds. So, and out of the 8 fish ponds, first he harvested 1.6 worth of fish. Then he harvested 1.8, and I believe when all the fish ponds now give him an income, he may even go to 10 million. So the president was very clear. He said this is another enterprise that we must encourage our people, especially those in swampy areas like Busoga, like Bokedi, like Chigeza and many others, can also venture into fish farming. It's lucrative.
Honorable Prime Minister, how do you demystify the concerns that in the 12 zones you have been to with the president, the allegations of pre-arranged people to come and present, to look good? How do you demystify these, especially in the narrative that some things are organized for you to show up and look good as a government?
How do I answer that now? Because you have been moving to these people. I think that is a question that I am not supposed to answer. Because for me, I have never stage managed anything. You know how open we are. NRM government is transparent and accountable. If people are there, you can go back and check, can't you?
Yes.
It's not a question worth answering.
When you look at the 12 zones you have been in, what learnings have you had as government? Because PDM seems like one size fits all. What learnings have you had from Acholi to Lango?
You mean the lessons? Of course, recently I was in Kawempe. The population in one parish of Kawempe is quite big, that it will take us as government to reach as many beneficiaries. And so the president directed, even when he was in Kawempe, remember, that government, where I am as a leader of government business, should come up with ways of identifying and demarcating these big parishes with the big population, like in Kawempe, for example, like in Kira and many other highly populated areas. We are coming up with a strategy to Fumba.
Mujuladi.
Just wait.
Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, and you've come to Kawempe, let's come to the urban areas. The struggle between government and then the enforcers like KCCA. You've given a lady 1 million, she's making chips on the side of the road, but the enforcement of KCCA is forcing her off the street. How are you balancing that?
I'm having a meeting to discuss that tomorrow. We shall come up with the strategies, and then I will give you an answer.
PDM, now it's about 4 years. When you are evaluating it, giving it a score, 1 to 10, what score would you give it, and what more can it do?
It is you to give us a score, not me, because it's me who is implementing. Are you aware I'm the chief implementer of government? Because I may give myself the highest score, and then you say, because you rightly asked a bad question here, that we are stage managing. I don't want to do that. According to you, let me also ask you, what is our score?
I think there's room for improvement. I would give you an average of 6 with room of improvement.
6 only.
6 out of 10.
6 only. That's not a bad performance, but to me, I would wish to inform Ugandans that PDM is not a program that is implemented anywhere in the world. It is Ugandan government that has come up with this strategy. I've seen so many people who have come here to benchmark, and I believe they are coming so that they can also go and do the same. At least for them now, they know that Uganda has started. So we shall continuously improve as we go along to where we find their challenges and gaps, which are very few, by the way. By all standards, the challenges can be worked on and the gaps can be bridged. PDM is the way to go. 1 million Uganda shillings has made some people, come up from the status where they are to another level. And to me, we need the support of everybody, including you, the media people.
Lastly, on PDM, Right Honorable Prime Minister, most of the thread around the 12 zones was corruption, fees being charged, some people feeling like they need to pay membership fees. How are you, because instead of the 1 million, some people are getting 800, 900. How are you solving the corruption, but also the fees being charged through corruption there?
The President directed the Cabinet and myself to stop the charges that were being levied by banks. And that stopped long ago. So it's government that is paying the banks directly. And to me, that one is now history. And if there is anybody who is charging the beneficiaries, that should be regarded as corruption. They are bribing. We don't expect any charge. Somebody must get his 1 million Uganda shillings. It's clear, period.
Lastly, investigations, arrests, that some of them directed by yourself, some directed by the President. How far with them? How soon should Ugandans be expecting results?
Which investigations?
The investigations on corruption, on some of the leaders involved in PDM corruption, some of the leaders using or misappropriating.
A few leaders. There are those who got convicted, especially in areas where they are culpable. There are those whose investigations are still ongoing, but those are just a few. They are negligible. All in all, PDM is doing very well.
Thank you very much. Honorable Prime Minister, let's switch gears a bit. You are going to be celebrating 4 years as the Prime Minister of this country. What would you say? Very soon. What would you say have been your achievements?
A number. When you see government projects and programs being implemented, the Prime Minister is in the center or at the center of it all. Government, this time round, I can say the commitments of government that are already implemented are above 51%. This manifesto we are implementing right now. And 35% of our commitments are ongoing. 51, 35. It is only around 15% of our commitments that have not yet started. But with the coming on board, the Bunyoro University and these other projects that are delayed, I believe NRM this time round will perform above 84% of our commitments to the people.
Oh.
And I cannot say it's only me, it's the president, because, you know, he's always in the steering seat. It is the members of cabinet, including the vice president, the ministers, our technical people, the permanent secretaries, and these others. The Parliament of Uganda, you know what we do in the Parliament. And then the local governments, by the way, including our partners, they also contribute to this performance. So I cannot say I did this alone. We have done it as government. To Parliament, like I've already told you, social services, we aim at improving social services to our people. We are looking at a health population. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Uganda has been one of the best countries that are implementing our programs. And this can be, because that's why we are now going to host the 11th African Forum on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Uganda, we shall continue to help our brothers and sisters who are coming in Uganda for their dear life. That is under my office. We shall continue to host the refugees, despite the fact that the funding from donors is dwindling. We shall come up with strategies. We shall continue to educate our population. We shall work on roads as usual, upgrade some of them to tarmac. We shall, continue to. We are looking at accelerated development. Remember the 2-digit. Yes. There are a number of things.
Honorable Prime Minister, you hinted on the refugees. A civil war in Congo, one brewing in South Sudan. You've also talked about dwindling support from our donor partners. What are your alternatives, especially the pressure on social services for the areas that are hosting these refugees?
We have always sustainably given our refugees pieces of land so they can produce food for themselves and also earn a living. Because UNHCR has been giving only a few dollars for people to survive on, they have been surviving basically on our land. And we shall continue to do the same.
Are we able to still absorb more numbers, especially looking at the civil wars on both countries and not about end?
People are learning for dear life. You want us to chase them? A human being being chased? Somebody who is learning for dear life? What I would suggest is that we shall continue to engage with our partners, but also look for alternatives as government. Land, provision of land has been our strategy, and we shall continue to do it, like I've already told you.
The other thing you've mentioned, especially earlier on when we were conversing before we came on air, was climate change. The rains seem like they're coming. We always know there's a disaster here or there. How prepared are you, especially for people that are in landslide areas, risky areas? How are you supporting them instead of reacting to it?
Government recently, under the directive of the President, has provided 50 billion to the office of the Prime Minister. And this money is aimed at giving a package to the disaster-prone areas so that we can relocate those people. That's the answer. We are relocating over 5,700 families from those disaster-prone areas of Mount Elgon in the districts of Bududa, Manafa, Bulambuli. Remember the other time, Bulambuli, we lost a number of people, and that's why I didn't vote for myself. Then Silonko and many other districts around Mount Elgon, including some 2 districts in Sebei.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, still sticking on disasters, riverbanks burst, bridges give way, people, food issues, especially with the quality being given. How are we going to do it different this time, especially both in the urban but also upcountry?
Come again?
In the rural areas, River Mwamba burst its banks. People could not access from one district to another. How are we going to do about infrastructure? 1. 2, in the urban areas, things happen, buildings are falling because of drainage. How are we going to do it different from how it happened last year?
We have a disaster roadmap. Yes. We also want to inform Ugandans that prevention is better than cure. So we have been using the meteorological department to inform our people of there would be disasters. In some areas we have saved lives. In some areas people have been saved from these disasters. I can give an example. In 2023, when in the districts of Western, in Kigezi, remember 2020, 2023, when we had disasters in the districts of Kigezi, a number of people were saved as compared to our neighbors. Why? Because of early warning systems. Early warning systems. People relocate before disasters happen. But some disasters, of course, like remember Kitezi, and other areas like Ulambuli recently, despite the early warning systems, some communities, some of them are hesitant to move. And so sometimes we lose lives. But we shall continue to train and sensitize our people.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Your call to action to the Ugandans who are watching you on PDM, on disasters, but also a message from their Prime Minister.
PDM, like I've already told you, we want, as government, to call upon all stakeholders, the leaders, the members of parliament across the divides, our political divides, the district leaders, the RDCs, the district chairpersons, the LOC5, the district councillors, LOC series, the party leaders, and even the beneficiaries themselves, the circle leaders. We have the parish chief, we have the parish development committee that includes the LOC2 chairperson, the women council chairperson at that level. The LOC1 leaders, we want them to work as a team. We don't want to leave anyone behind in the fight against poverty, so that our people can get rid of poverty in one way or the other. The technical people we have from the Ministry of Local Government, the PDM Secretariat, I want to thank that team at the PDM Secretariat, headed by Galabuzi, the Honorable, and the Honorable Kalisa, Honorable Magezi, Raphael, and the Honorable Victoria, and many others, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Finance, for the work well done. Like I've told you, PDM was PDM continues to be our flagship program. We have a lot of hope that this will help us to push us to another level when it comes to socio-economic development and the eradication of poverty. We are also introducing stricter or measures to make sure that the culprits, a few culprits we shall get, will be dealt with according to the law. We are also imposing penalties, like I already told you. We are enhancing digital tracking of funds to ensure that there is transparency. We are strengthening the roles of local leaders and accountability at that level. We are also training our people to go for high-value crops, especially those with limited land. High-value crops. They should leave the low-value crops to people with a lot of land. That's all I can say, as of course we continue to be guided by the President.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Your comment to Ugandans, what message comes from their Prime Minister to Ugandans?
I want my fellow Ugandans to take advantage of the prevailing peace and security in the country. One, to work hard and make sure that they earn a living. Make sure you choose an enterprise that is profitable. Make sure that we educate our children, the younger population, the future leaders, and also make sure that you embrace all government programs. They are aimed at helping you. Yes.
That has been our Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja giving her message. Her humility, especially to share the success with others, is something that is admirable for her to be our Prime Minister here. But today that special edition has been speaking about PDM. It has come also to speak about her office as the Prime Minister, what their performances look like, but furthermore to the disasters if the weather is to go by anything they're suggesting. But from us to you here at UBC, my name is Timothy Nyangweso, and have a good night.